It has been an interesting week for Star Wars and for the Star Wars fan base. The final trailer for The Rise of Skywalker came out and it confirmed many of the leaks that have been going around the internet. This has led to many discussions about the end of the movie and why a lot of fans are not happy about how it supposedly ends. In this video, I'm going to put all the cards on the table. I want to talk about everything I know about the ending, and I want to talk about why I'm ultimately concerned about how people are going to take this.
It's like the news, but for nerds.
Today's shout out goes to Yusuf Rama. Indeed, Carrie Skoglund is directing the Falcon and the Winter Soldier series. Make sure you stay to the end of this video where we will ask another nerd card question. What's up, everybody? Happy Friday to you. You made it through another work week. Congratulations. I'm Josh, and today's going to be kind of a different kind of episode, but either way, I'm going to need you to chop like. Now, right up front, let's put a spoiler warning out there, although I know many people are going to ignore it. By the way, very early on in the reports about these particular leaks, I tried to convey to as many people as possible that if they didn't want spoiled, to stay off of these videos because I was pretty sure this was all real. And I'm gonna be going to spoiler town like you wouldn't freaking believe. And so I say as a warning, honestly, if you're at this place where you're like, I really don't wanna know any more about what could possibly happen, just seriously, don't watch this video. And next up, I think it's important to maybe admit to something. A lot of people have hit me up about this, but yes, I did leak a photograph from The Rise of Skywalker, or what is supposedly from The Rise of Skywalker, on Reddit a couple of days ago. Now, I didn't put that leak in any videos here, even though I could have and probably would have gotten like amazing amounts of views from it. I decided not to, simply to protect the source and to sort of protect myself. And that whole thing was a wild experience. I'm in Newsweek, which is kind of wild, but yeah, I'm not gonna talk too much about that specific photograph, even though I guess I kind of am, because I'm going to talk about everything I know with regards to the leaks and with regards to the end of the film. And I only bring up the leaking and the thing on Reddit just to say that, like, I have somehow found myself in this crazy world of leaks and spoilers and scooping and potentially upsetting mega corporations and different things like that. And it just, I guess, just comes with the territory, you know, when you talk to the people that I talk to, and a lot of subscribers out there have connections, believe it or not, and they send you stuff all the time. Occasionally they send you stuff that's legit and you can confirm with other sources that you have. Basically, I'm at a weird place where I feel more confident than ever in what I know about this movie and how I think this will play out. And I'm frankly concerned, like I'm really concerned. And even though I actually like the leaks and I tend to like even the ending, maybe, I can't deny the narrative out there online. I can't deny some of the things I'm seeing out there with how fans are reacting to this ending. And so I'm very concerned, and people have been asking me why. They're like, you know, Josh, why are you so concerned? And so this episode is really to kind of convey why I'm concerned and kind of just put it all out there. Everything I know about the end of The Rise of Skywalker. Let's start with what's not real. And sorry to say, but most of what is being reported by the fandom menace out there is total crap. I've actually ran with some of it because some of it I felt was real considering some of the other things that I have heard, but I've gotten a lot of clarification in the last couple of days, and like most of what the fandom menace is reporting is just categorically false. Like the fact that 75% of this movie is being reshot, totally false. My sources actually indicate that even though there's slight changes going on, the film's pretty much locked, which it disproves what they're saying about the 75% reshoots, but it actually makes me more concerned about the film, which I'll get into in a second. But yeah, that's crap. Also, the reports about the 6 different endings that are being tested, that's crap too. Like I've talked about that, and there is something going on where they're focus testing, but it's really just people within Disney. It's editors, it's people like Bob Iger, Kathy Kennedy. They're just looking at the ending and making slight adjustments, but it's not as drastic as people think, and they're definitely not focus testing this movie. That's just not something they're doing. The reports by the fandom menace about how Disney's really concerned about the movie, those are false as well. Like Disney tends to think they actually accomplished their goal, and you know, I'm not saying that this means that they're right, but the reports out there that they're scrambling and that they're really nervous, those reports are not true, guys. And so most of what the Phantom Menace is talking about is just crap, and they're just doing it to get clicks. That's cool, like do your thing, but I feel responsibility to speak honestly, especially as I find out way more about this actual film and the production. So look, that's the truth, and you don't have to take my word for it. You're gonna see the film very soon. You'll know what's going on. So that stuff's not true. But strangely enough, there's one thing that the Fandom Menace is actually getting right, and that is that by and large, most fans do not like the leaks, particularly the ending. Now, I want to stop here for a second and say there's a lot that's not in the leaks. There's a lot of context that's not there. There's the acting on screen, which will make things, believable or not believable, depending on where you stand. But there's just stuff that's not in the leaks, and I think a lot of people are making conclusions and making decisions about how they're going to think about this ending without actually seeing it, which I think is unfair. Having said that, let me explain the ending, everything I know about it, and then explain why people are so upset. So the very end of the film has to do with Rey confronting Palpatine, okay? This is the confronting fear is the destiny of the Jedi kind of thing. She's going to go confront Palpatine, and yes, she will at this point in the film know that she is the granddaughter of Palpatine. Now, she goes to face him alone, but she does need help, and so she goes there and she's literally alone with Palpatine, but then Kylo Ren, who is at this point Ben Solo, he's no longer being Kylo Ren, he throws away the red lightsaber, he shows up to help her, and he has to defeat the Knights of Ren in order to even get into the throne room to help her, or to get to the throne with Palpatine rather, because I don't think it's a room, I think it's an open area on Exegol. But either way, he's got to go through the Knights of Ren. Now, in that scene, he gets beat up real bad, and this is something that's slightly changed within the leaks. Originally, he was just going to beat them with the Force, but now it appears that due to the Force bond, he's going to receive a blue lightsaber from Rey, which we believe will be Leia's lightsaber. Now, there's some conflicting reports about whether or not Kylo is given Anakin's lightsaber or Leia's lightsaber. I think it's Leia's lightsaber. Some of my sources say Leia, some of my sources say Anakin. That is what it is. But either way, he gets the lightsaber, whoops up on the Knights of Ren, and then with Rey stands before Palpatine. And that is the image that I did leak. This is an image from that scene where Kylo Ren, after getting beat up by the Knights of Ren, will be standing before Palpatine with Rey. So honestly, so far so good. Like, people are not upset about any of that. It's what happens next that people are not down with. And so this is the part of the movie where, that line from the trailer where Palpatine says, "Your coming together will be your undoing." This is where this line comes from. Basically, because Kylo Ren and Rey have this Force bond, they're very powerful when they're together. When they come together, Palpatine is able to siphon off the Force energy of them and revivify or rejuvenate himself and gain a ton of power. And then when they're both weakened, he blasts Kylo Ren with a bunch of lightning and yeets him into a dark pit, and Kylo falls down the pit, never to be seen again. Then after that, some Jedi show up, either with just their voices or with their presence or as Force ghosts. They rejuvenate Rey. She picks up both sabers. Emperor blasting at her with lightning. She's blocking both the sabers. She ends up killing the Emperor, and that is how the Emperor is defeated. Now, there's another aspect to this that I think is important to bring up here, because it's something that people will also be divided on. After this happens, Rey will be on Tatooine, and she will be burying the components of some of the lightsabers from Leia and Anakin in the sand. She put together some of the other components and made her own lightsaber, which I don't know why exactly. Maybe they get damaged when killing Palpatine or something. But anyways, she makes like a golden saber, okay? And that sounds dope. But then she's asked at the end of the movie by a local, "Who are you?" And she answers, "I'm Rey Skywalker." So she takes the name Skywalker despite being a Palpatine, and that is the explanation for the ending, The Rise of Skywalker. So that's like 99% of what I know about the ending. I'll tell you more in just a second here, but let's talk about why people are upset about this. Kylo Ren being yeeted off of a cliff and dying and never to be seen again is not something fans are very happy about. There's like a lot of different groups of fans that are not happy about that. There's all sorts of reasons why, but also this would mean that Rey gets a one-on-one kill against Palpatine, the darkest, most powerful Sith Lord of all time, and there's a lot of people that are not going to like that. She's also going to take the name Skywalker, seemingly finding her place within the story and becoming a Skywalker that's not really a Skywalker, and I don't think a lot of fans are going to be happy about that either. Now, I want to dig a little bit deeper here and talk about some of the legitimate reasons that people are upset about this. A lot of crazy discussions about this on Twitter and on Reddit. But the thing that's really interesting, and I want everyone to keep in mind, is that there are all kinds of different Star Wars fans that all find their own problems with this ending. So number one, I've seen a lot of people talk about how Rey defeating Palpatine on her own without the help of Kylo Ren goes against everything that the sequel trilogy has been trying to explain to us, particularly about these two characters. Their strongest win together, and there's something about them working together that feels right. It feels like balance, the light and the dark side coming together to defeat like the ultimate evil, right? But if it's just Rey, a lot of people are not liking that, and they think that it goes against a lot of the precedents and the things that have been set up for the sequel trilogy. On top of that, like her just killing Palpatine anyways, just like this is one person that gets the kill on the greatest Sith Lord of all time. I mean, Luke couldn't defeat him, Maul and his brother couldn't defeat him, Vader couldn't defeat him without Luke and that whole situation. Like nobody can defeat Palpatine, and yet Rey's gonna defeat Palpatine. Like a lot of people are not going to be okay with that. There are a lot of people talking about how Ben Solo being redeemed and then dying, sacrificing himself, or just being killed is predictable. That's what they always do. They always come back to the light, but then they're dead. And it's like, that's kind of frustrating. And I know it's Star Wars and it's poetry, and I'm not personally upset by this, but this is a big thing that a lot of fans are bringing up. I also think Rey taking the name of Skywalker and honestly being related to a Palpatine, it is cool to some fans, but there's a lot of different fans that don't like this. Like there are a lot of people that think Rey should just be no one, that they don't need an explanation for her to have all these powers, and they like the Rey nobody story. And those people are gonna be upset. Like, she's not only not no one, but then she ditches her actual powerful lineage to just grab another powerful name and just goes after that. So like, what's the lesson there? There's also a lot of people that just don't really care for the Rey character, and I feel like her just taking the name Skywalker is not gonna be good enough for fans. Like, they're not gonna embrace that, and that's gonna be an issue. Also, something that I've talked to fans about is like, it's so weird because apparently Leia and Luke as Force Ghosts will show up on Tatooine looking over Rey at the end of the film, but it's like, wait a minute, so Luke and Leia are there, but no Ben Solo? So like, there's just no Ben Solo. Like he just gets yeeted off that cliff and then nothing. All right, now let's talk about the rest of the things that I know about this ending. So there are people out there asking me, and do we have hope that maybe Disney is changing things? Do we think that with these reshoots and some of the things that are going on right now, that this ending could change? And I'm here to tell you that unfortunately, due to a lot of things I'm hearing from different sources, it's not going to change. That this is the ending, and that basically they're very close to locking the entire film, and there's just no big changes coming. So this is the ending. Now again, I could be wrong here. I'm kind of new in this game, right? I could be being misled by a lot of different people. I'm open to that happening, but my reason, guys, like, look, I stand behind saying that this is the ending, that they're not going to change it. And I stand behind these leaks. I stand behind all of the research and all of the different things that I've done. So that is what's going to happen, in my opinion. Is there a chance that I am wrong? Totally a chance. I know some people out there think that all of the leaks are wrong and that the leakers actually got access to the trailers early and that they reverse engineered the film from the trailers. I do not believe that. If you believe that, that's fine, and we will soon know, right? We're gonna find out. But guys, I'm just telling you, from everything I know, they're not changing this ending. However, there is one thing that could happen that could slightly alter what we are being told, because there's this aspect to the ending that all of the leakers are not talking about, and I'm not sure why, but I actually think one of my sources might have slightly slipped up and kind of let me know why. But this all has to do with when Rey is rejuvenated and Kylo being yeeted off that cliff. And what I'm being told is that there's something more to this scene, but that all the leakers can say is that he is launched off of this cliff into that pit, never to be seen again. That there's something else to it, but they can't say what it is. Now I'll tell you what I think it is, and this is based on some of my sources kind of slipping up just a little bit, and then some context that I think I'm getting filled in from other things. But what I think is going to happen is that one of the voices at the end of the film, one of the maybe Force ghosts that helps Rey get her power back and helps her to defeat Palpatine, is actually Ben Solo. And so Ben Solo might help her, sacrifice himself to save her, and yet also still help her again to defeat Palpatine, like coming as a Force ghost or whatever, like kind of giving his power to help Rey after Palpatine sucks all of her power away. But what's crazy about that is that that would confirm that he's dead, right? So there's a lot of people out there that are like, oh, even if he falls off this cliff, he's going to survive. Like, you know, look, the Emperor survived. In this comic book, he learns how to not fall to the bottom, you know, with Snoke. So they're setting us up. He's not going to actually die. But if he shows up as a Force ghost or helps Rey with his voice after going off that cliff into that pit, he's dead. So even though that's kind of cool, it might solve the problem for some fans, it still means Ben Solo gets yeeted off of that cliff. And so why am I so concerned about this? Well, I think it might be the same thing that happened with Game of Thrones Season 8. Now, there were leaks that came out for Game of Thrones Season 8. They pretty much spoiled the entire season, including the ending, and the ending was very controversial. And people were even saying in the leaks, like, hopefully all this stuff is real, but just not the ending. Hopefully that leak was them messing with us. Hopefully it's not real, because people already decided how much they hated that ending. And then they got that ending and they hated it. And I'm concerned that that same thing's gonna happen with the Star Wars fan base, that a lot of people have already made up their mind and they're just hoping against hope that the ending is not the way we think it's going to go. And my concern is that when it goes exactly the way I just explained, that people are going to freak out and just close off any like way that they could like it and decide they hate it. I just see a bad trend here and some patterns that are really concerning. So ultimately, even though, like I said, I'm gonna love it. Like, I'm super pumped to see all this stuff on screen. I think with the context, particularly this Adam Driver's acting, it's gonna be just really enjoyable and hype as hell. But I'm gonna let the film hit me how it hits me. And if I don't like it, I'm not gonna like it. But I haven't made up my mind like a lot of other people, right? So that's where we're at. That's why I'm concerned. Of course, I'm super curious about all of your thoughts about this. So what do you think? Are you one of these people that hates the ending? What do you think about some of the things I said? Where are you at with all of this? Please let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. And now let's check the nerd card before we get out of here. I want to know, in this newly released cover image for the Kylo Ren comic book, this member of the Knights of Ren has a symbol on their helmet. Where have we seen this symbol before in Star Wars? This has been the topic of a lot of interesting rumors and theories about this comic, but I want to know, where does this symbol come from in Star Wars? Answer that question in the comment section below. As I always say, I hope you're having an awesome and a nerdy day, and I'll see you in the next video.